I've been ready for a long time. So,
Amen.
yeah, hopefully you get to spend some chunk of your day outside. We want to take just a couple minutes and really today just kind of celebrate something that happened this past Sunday. Tim, what happened this past Sunday?
Yeah, if you can believe this, we actually met in our building Sunday evening at 7 for worship night. So you probably saw that. We kind of talked about it for a few weeks leading up to it, and it was time for baptisms.
Yeah.
And just being in our building and sitting separated, kind of spaced, of course, and masks on and all that. So that's still weird and different. But just being able to be together and sing and be led in worship to be able to sing. And I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but if you've sung with a mask on, you end up hearing yourself far more than without a mask on. So that's just if you haven't experienced that yet, something I learned. But it was so great. And I got home and described it to Abby as it felt a little bit like Easter.
Huh.
And there was that kind of celebration in the room and that kind of thing. So it was just great. And just honestly, just stripped down and simple evening. But part of what made it feel like Easter is that not just the celebration, but the celebration of new life in Jesus. And so we got to baptize 3 people on Sunday night, which was is always amazing. And this night was no different. Actually, why don't you tell us about the first one that was baptized?
Yeah, the first person who got baptized was a student, a middle school girl. And I got to kind of talk with her and her grandma kind of leading up to her baptism. She had a crew of family in the room, which was really cool to have them kind of cheering her on. But she was very just nervous, and that's a reality for most people who get baptized. But I asked her beforehand, scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you? And she was like, 8.5 or 9. I said, great. I said, scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you? She said, 9.5, 10. So I reassured her. I said, "You're exactly where you should be." That's how people feel. But I was really proud of this student for really just kind of going for it and exemplifying kind of a courageous step of faith. We talk about baptism as an obedience to Jesus, and obedience takes courage. And I just thought it was really cool. 1, for her to have that kind of marker in her journey of faith, but 2, for kind of our church to be led by her in faith and in obedience. So that was I was fighting tears just because it was it's so cool to watch a student make that choice and act out in faith. So, and then there are 2 more.
Yeah, and this is just a great story to be able to celebrate and share with you. And I don't know if it was Friday. I think it was Friday sometime. An email came in from a couple that just said, "We are coming on Sunday night. We're RSVP'd and we're signed up to be baptized. We've never been to Mosaic before. We've never been to your building." And the last thing on the email was, before they signed it, was, "God told us to come." And so we met before the gathering, and Adam sat down with them and just heard their story. And it, like so many of us can tell, it's a story of brokenness and challenge and difficulty. And then Jesus shows up and reveals himself, and they responded to him. And then God told them to get baptized. And so we still don't even have all the pieces together, but they were there. They brought their son, and he was not ready to get baptized, but this husband and wife got into the tank, and Adam kind of just introduced him, and we all cheered, of course, and it was just this really special moment of God's clearly working in their life. Yeah. They confessed Jesus, and coming up out of the water, just the celebration. The look on their face, if hopefully you've seen somebody get baptized before, but that moment of okay, this is real. God's doing something in their life. And so it was, that's what I said. It just kind of feel a little bit like Easter.
Yeah,
it was that kind of it.
As I think about Sunday night, it reminds me that it was it was kind of an answer to several prayers, even over the last week before. On Friday night, there was a house gathering leaders dinner, and that was one of the specific things we prayed for on Friday night, that people would choose to step out in faith and be baptized. And then I remember, I can't remember if I was praying by myself or this was with a group, but just praying like, God, would you help kind of all the details and logistics and all the complicated things of distance seating and mask wearing and help that fade to the background and let just us worship and be with you. I think that was what I was thinking about. And I just felt like that prayer got answered too. Even with all the moving pieces of the night, the things that were unique and new, that there was this, I felt kind of the tangible presence of God, that we were able to respond in worship and celebrate these stories of baptism. And it made me hungry for more of that too.
Well, and like, it's so easy for us to kind of skate over that, but that when you pray and then there's an answer, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you pray and then there's an answer, you're kind of like shocked and surprised.
Right. And
what if that became the norm, that we pray and God shows up and answers? And so I was challenged by that and just so encouraged by it. And the other thing I'm just kind of wondering about is, what is God doing in our midst to reshape and shape in a new way what worship looks like for us? And I think that's something that God's doing, and I don't know what that looks like. But I can't believe that when we gather like this to worship after the year that we've been through, that it will just look the same. It's going to look different. Phil and I did one of these, what seems like a long time ago, but just hearing his heart for what he dreams about in worship and why worship is important, not just for him, but for us as a worshiping community. And so just excited about that, to not have tasted that in so long, and then to get to walk into a room and together and do that last Sunday night was great.
Yeah. So. And we're going to do it again. Not because of how good Sunday was, but because it feels like an arena in which God is kind of shaping us into his people. So, Sunday night, March 21st, it's about 2.5 weeks from now, we're going to gather again for an in-person worship gathering. And there'll be RSVP information for that soon, likely in the Mosaic Weekly tomorrow. And we'd just love to invite you to make a plan to be there. At least come and see it, I think is a kind of an invitation too.
Like come and see it, like from outside, or like actually come in and
come participate. Come and experience it, because it does feel like maybe a way that God is breathing new life into our church family.
The other thing I want to circle back around to is that you mentioned we got all of our house gathering leaders together. Most all of them were able to be there Sunday night, and actually shared a meal together, all separated, individually packaged, but then worshipped a little and prayed together. And so I just want to just another shout out to our house gathering leaders. And would you, if you're in a house gathering, would you try to make a point this week, whether it's Sunday or some other time, email or text, but just say thanks to those that are leading your house gathering. The way that God is working through them in our community and what God's doing in house gatherings is tremendous. We celebrate it probably every week, and we hear a new story every week of just what God's doing, answered prayer, people getting help and encouragement and growing. And so would you thank them? And then also, if that's something that you're ever interested in finding out, like, hey, I might want to do that or be a part of that, we're looking for what it looks like to start new ones as we have opportunities, as people are interested. So thanks to those of you that are currently leading. Would you thank them if you're in one? Actually, and if you're not in one, would you get in one? You're missing out. That's the primary way that we're gathering as a church right now, and it's been so meaningful for this last year now. And so, join one. And if you're interested in leading one or launching one, we'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple stories, a couple invitations. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.